Stubborn RV toilet stains aren't just gross, they're embarrassing, and a $300 mistake just waiting to happen. I was literally pricing out new toilets at midnight because ours looked so bad. And most people think that replacement is the only option. But hey, I'm about to show you how to melt all that scale away for under 10 bucks. And stick around because I'm also installing a $15 part that fixes a design flaw in most RVs and gives you full control over your water supply. No more shutting down the whole rig just to clean the toilet. These two fixes, they're going to save your wallet and your sanity. Before we melt that scale though, we need to fix a design flaw. Every RV owner eventually cusses that. You can't just shut off the water to the toilet. If I want to cut the water off to the toilet, I got to run outside and turn the whole supply off to the entire rig. But to let this cleaning gel do its job, the toilet has to stay dry. That means running outside to the main hookup every time. Well, not anymore. I'm installing this simple $15 shutoff valve right here on the supply line. I need to get a towel to catch some water.
There's your towel back here. That's what I was just looking at.
Okay. And get our water detector out. Put this around here. And hopefully I won't get too much of a water spill. I'm sure I will get some. All right. So are you ready? Can you see me good?
Yeah. Sort of kind.
Here we go.
Turn the water off, right?
Yeah, all water's off.
Alright, so you're cutting the hose that's there.
Yeah, I cut the hose, and I've got this,
to put that.
so I'll put that in there so that we can turn the valve off, turn it on. Okay. And these are actually not PEX clamps. These are oversized for the barbed and the polybutyl hose. So that's what we're going to be using. It should make a quick fix if everything goes right. Knock on wood.
I was going to say, why did you say that out loud? All we did was move sites today in the same neighborhood, and now we got a leak and replacing water things.
I'll have to cut a little out of that. So let's see. Maybe I'll go this and cut down instead of up.
I can't see anything but your big old hand, just so you know. There you go.
Go ahead and put that on there. All right, well, that's one clamp. Now I need to adjust this. I got to cut this hose down here. Okay, that's on, and then that should be off. So now I gotta go hook up the water, make sure we don't have any leaks down here. All right, I turned the water back on. This all looks dry in here. Doesn't appear to be any leaks. So just turn the water on. Let's see, it goes this way. And here's a pro tip for my DIYers. Most RVs use the wrong connector on this flexible tubing. Those rings squeeze the hose onto a fitting that's too small, and that's how leaks start. So I'm using clamps made for the 1/2-inch polybutylene and the correct barbed fittings. Here, let me show you a side-by-side comparison. Can you see the difference in these two clamps? This is your PEX clamp, and this is for the polybutylene. Here's your piece of PEX. You can see how tight this is on there. Polybutylene is a whole lot bigger, so it takes this clamp right here, and you can see, look at how much room there is. So here's your PEX clamp. This is with the PEX barb right here. You can see how it goes down in here, and it's a pretty good fit. I mean, that's pretty solid. Here's the 1/2-inch barb. It won't even fit in there. So that's what they're trying to do. The polybutylene that goes on this bigger fitting right here, they're trying to use the PEX clamp and clamp it back down to this smaller fitting. So it just doesn't work. So you need to get the larger 1/2-inch barbed fittings that go in your polybutylene, and that will stop your leaks. That's always a weak point on these RVs, and that's what the problem is. I'll put the links to the right clamps and the 1/2-inch barbed fittings down in the description below. This is how you stop leaks before they start. Now that we've got the water control handled, I can show you the 2 grocery store ingredients that are about to do what $50 worth of chemicals couldn't do. But why did it get this bad? I mean, we followed all the rules. We used the recommended soft cleaners. Nothing worked. I thought maybe it was a bad toilet design, or maybe stuff was just splashing around while we were driving, but we don't haul with full tanks, and I backwash constantly. I was convinced we were doing everything right, which somehow it made it feel even worse. That gross stain in the down tube, it's a mix of calcium scale and, well, you know. Then it hit me. High school chemistry. Vinegar dissolves calcium. But high school vinegar is only 5% acetic acid. Way too weak. So I went full mad scientist and grabbed some 45% cleaning vinegar. But vinegar is a liquid. It just runs straight into the tank, so I needed a way to make it stick to the walls. Enter xanthan gum. You can usually find this in gluten-free baking sections. They use this to thicken sauces and gravies and stuff like that when you need a gluten alternative. And it doesn't have to be heated up. You can mix this with cold liquids. Whisk it in slowly, because if you dump it all at once, you'll get more like vinegar dumplings than you will a gel. This doesn't look like it's working too much. But just mix a little bit in, stir it up. I even use this little electric whisk thing that we have for frothing up coffee and lattes and stuff. So just mix this up until it gets there. You know, you can see that mine didn't exactly mix completely. I dumped a little bit too much at one time, so you can see how it clumps up. But it did gel around the rest of it, and I was able to use it anyway. To get the gel where it needs to go, you can see I built a custom tool. I taped a hardware store brush to a paint paddle to extend my reach. A few years ago, I was using a cheap toilet brush we got from the dollar store, and the head popped off, and of course it went straight into the black tank. I had to jack up the camper and pray that I could flush it out. So don't be past Steve. Get yourself some paracord or something and tie it onto your tool. Make yourself a lanyard, attach it to your wrist, and use a one-piece brush, whatever you do. So this is the vinegar I'm using right here, and you can see right on the label, poison, causes eye and skin burns. So before we put a single drop of this stuff into our toilet, we need to talk about safety. Standard vinegar is like 5% acetic acid. This stuff is 45, 47%. That's 9 times stronger, and it's highly corrosive. The fumes alone will make your eyes water. So wear gloves, eye protection, open your windows, and run your exhaust fan. Because this vinegar is such a high strength acid, it can destroy your rubber components if you're not careful. It'll dry them out and it'll warp them. So to prevent a massive leak, I'm going to be coating the bowl seal with this 100% silicone plumber's grease. It's not petroleum jelly and it's not WD-40. Now brush the gel on thick, and thanks to the xanthan gum, it clings to the vertical walls instead of running off. Let it sit for a full hour. No scrubbing yet, just let the chemistry do the heavy lifting. If your scale is as bad as mine was, you might hear it fizzing. I had to repeat this 3 times to let it eat through the years of buildup. Has anyone else tried something like this or had a worse RV cleaning disaster? Drop it in the comments below and make me feel a little bit better if you would. All right, moment of truth. I genuinely didn't know if this was going to work the first time I tried it. I'm really not using much pressure here. The gel softened the rock hard calcium and it pretty much is just wiping away. To rinse everything out without making a huge mess, I'm using our handheld shower wand. Hot water blasts everything clean. Look at that. Factory white, no scale, no stains. That's pretty incredible considering everything I've tried before this. This is unbelievable. And even though I had put a coating of the silicone plumber's grease on the seal before I started the process, now that I'm done and everything is rinsed, I'm going to add another light coating of the silicone grease just to ensure the seal is protected after using the harsh acid. It just keeps it lubricated and holding water perfectly. Now cleaning is just a band-aid. If you have hard water, the scale will come back. So to stop the cycle for good, let me show you what I did. So I installed this Circle River water softener. Think of it as a security guard for your plumbing. It uses ion exchange resin to pull the rock-forming minerals out before they ever reach your toilet or your water heater. And this one, it has a 16,000 grain capacity. Plenty for the hardest water parks that we've hit. And it recharges with just a couple of boxes of table salt. And since installing it, our flush valve has stopped leaking, the shower stays cleaner, and our skin feels better after a rinse. You know, I'll link the softer and the $15 valves in the description. So if this hack saved you from buying a new toilet, let me know in the comments. And tell me your black tank rescue stories. Make me feel a little bit better about my lost toilet brush. And don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to Ramblin' Reflections for more RV DIYs. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.